like Meghan Markle's about to finally get her claws out against an author that's planning to release a tell-all book. Who are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thanks for joining me today. Nice to see you. Now, as ever, people are asking me what's it like here in London right now. Well, we've got a lot busier, thankfully. So if you are planning to come over, do expect to see bigger queues and things like that outside your favourite tourist spots. But as we also told you, we're going to try and hook out some cheaper options, maybe even some free options, so that you don't have to spend a fortune when you finally get over here to the United Kingdom, because it is expensive, let me tell you. I tell you what though, we could all just meet up, couldn't we, in the park, have a huge picnic. Oh, don't set me off. If somebody brings a Victoria sponge, I'm there. Back as ever though to your breaking royal story of the day. This story really centres on the ongoing battle with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and their desire to shy away from the media. Yes, we believe that, don't we? I did actually admire Meghan herself when she strode onto the stage at the Invictus Games to introduce her husband, Prince Harry. I mean, there was no denying that this was a very confident, assured woman. No shrinking violet there, is what I thought to myself. But now, of course, Meghan has her own media platform. She set up their own production company, Archwell Audio or Studios, whichever you want to call it, and they're planning to make their very first podcast, which are going to be released via Spotify during this summer. Now, one of the situations that Meghan, I am told, will be dealing with is this. As we know, the celebrated author Tom Bower is gearing up to release his tell-all book about Meghan Markle. And we also told you that Meghan herself was rather concerned about her image after this book would be published. And we also pointed out that Meghan herself has been offered a very similar deal with her publishers who published The Bench. And I do sort of think, if I was Penguin Random House, I would be seriously looking at how much money return I'm going to get from this. Or are we just writing this off as publicity? One way or another, there's not going to be much money to be made, is there? Let's be brutally honest. But Meghan herself now, I'm told, is going to retaliate back to Mr. Bower, and this is how. As we know, we've just told you that she's gearing up for a podcast, and one of those particular podcasts, once the books come out, and I'm told as ever, we have to say allegedly, will be focusing on the fine art of betrayal. Something, of course, we all know about in everybody's life. It's not an easy thing to get through, and more importantly, it does hurt when you find that out. But of course, for Meghan Markle herself, she'll be focusing on the fact that certain stories that I've no doubt she will find out who they're attributed to will be dealt with. Well, we're not necessarily saying she'll be referenced in the book, but it will be situations that people could discuss in the round table format that apparently they're going to be doing. What's interesting to note for Meghan herself is this could be her form back. This could be the way that she deals with her ongoing battle with the media. But given the massive onslaught around the world against Meghan and Harry, and whatever people think, as I say, I'm not paid by the Sussex people or their team or their sugars or whatever, I present both sides. It's always dangerous when you get into, he said, she said within the media, because it just fires up the battle, it carries on. I think if I was advising Meghan regarding her Spotify podcasts, I would make them more wholesome, more family orientated, and perhaps give tips about how to break into things like acting, show business, stuff like that. Why inflame the flames? Of course, I know I'm talking to myself here. But according to that very good source working within Spotify, that is the plan on how Meghan, at least right now, plans to counteract any bad publicity from that forthcoming book from the celebrated author, Tom Bower. As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.